Howdy, beautiful people. We've got our wonderful Liz Cross, who, as you know, can't show her face for security reasons. And if you've seen any of the other mind probes, and that's her specialty, probing the minds, the higher selves of, and the conscious, anything that has a consciousness, basically. Uh, okay, she just told me that she mind probed Biden this morning. And did you have to
Mm.
clear out all the cobwebs there, man? Oh my God. But
Well, it's
anyway,
very telling. It's very telling.
oh,
I'll
oh,
publish
oh.
it on my channel tonight.
Yeah, jaw dropping. And we will put all her information in the description box below, and it will also be on the screen at one point or another. All right. Today, hi, Eric. I love you.
Eric's here. He says, I love you too, Mom. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Eric is on the other side, unfortunately, but in some ways, fortunately. And he's going to bring forth, if he hasn't already, Karen Reed. I never heard of her, but everybody is apparently very excited to find information about her. But let me read to you a little bit of backstory in case you're clueless like me, living under a rock. Karen Reed is a 44-year-old financial analyst from Mansfield, Massachusetts, who is standing trial for allegedly hitting and killing her boyfriend, former Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her SUV during a snowstorm in January 2022. This murder trial for Karen Reed ended with a mistrial as a Massachusetts jury could not reach a unanimous verdict. Prosecutors say they plan to retry the case in the coming months. Attorneys for Reed have argued that she is a victim of a cover up by several people, including law enforcement. So we got Karen Reed, her mind, her higher consciousness, her higher self, right, Eric?
Yes, we do. So I'm going to connect with her now. And as I tune into her, it's like a sense of relief. Like she's still just really processing everything that's happened from the court case, and she's really trying to take it easy. She was on edge. I mean, she didn't
Oh
know what was
God.
going to happen. So I do have her here. Yes. And this
Well,
is her subconscious. And don't
yes.
forget, these answers are relevant for today. Things could change tomorrow. They could change next week. But as of today, July 22nd, 2024, these are her answers.
And the higher self doesn't lie. It can't lie. So, and Eric, you'll probably need to bring over Officer John O'Keefe to be channeled as well, because the very talented Liz Cross also channels. All right, these are questions from the community. I want to know if she did it and why she went back that morning. Well, first of all, did you do it, Karen Reed? Did you purposely, intentionally run over your boyfriend?
Did you purposefully and intentionally run over your boyfriend? Yes.
Why?
Why? I wanted to teach him a lesson.
Did you think you were definitely going to kill him?
Did you think
Or
that you
just
were?
wanted to hurt him a little bit?
No, she was just so angry, is what she's saying to me, that it was just a fit of rage.
Nothing's worse than the scorn of a woman, right? Ooh.
Was
What
he?
was the trigger? What pissed you off to make you do
What
it?
was the trigger? He was never available, she says. He wouldn't
What do you
answer
mean?
his phone.
Physically or emotionally? Or both?
Physically or emotionally available. Both.
Mm.
She didn't trust him. Did you ever catch him fooling around? Yeah. He was always kind of on dating sites, or she's showing me something like where he was connecting with women. He was not trustworthy at all.
Mm. Uh, okay, I don't know if this is relevant, but it's part of the same question. Was she looking for John because he didn't come home, or did she start to worry he wasn't okay after she hit him? So I guess they're saying that she probably figured he was just injured and would come back.
Um, so what I think the reason for this, and I know because I polled my Patreon subscribers for questions, and they gave, they explained some, was afterwards she's calling and calling and calling incessantly, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? So let's ask her, why did you call incessantly asking where are you? Is it because because I thought I killed him. I didn't hit him that hard, she says.
Mm.
I just wanted to let him know he couldn't fool around. This was not a workable situation. I wasn't going to tolerate his BS.
So you're
But I
scared
thought
you're
he
gonna
went
kill him.
inside.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. So, but what she said on the tail end of that was, I thought he went inside. I thought it was a tap and he went inside.
Mm. Wow. What part of him was it was the head that did him in, this torso, probably not the abdomen.
Let's ask him. So I have him standing here and he's immediately pointing at her going, she killed me.
Yeah.
Do you think she did it on purpose? Yes, absolutely. I always knew she was dangerous, which is why I was trying to get away from her.
Oh,
But
wow.
I was worried because this had turned into a bit of a stalking situation. He's telling me, I knew that she could be very, very dangerous and that she would come after me. She cannot control her temper, he says. So let's ask this question. So what part of it was it that she hit you? She hit, it looks like he's pointing to his legs and his abdomen sort of area. But why didn't you get up? Could you not get up? It was the knockback that knocked him unconscious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet. Like you hit yourself on something, the back of your head on something hard.
Did you hit the back of your head on some? Yeah, it knocked him out. It did. And so did you know that you were freezing to death? No, he was completely blacked out at that point.
Oh gosh. What was the cause of death? Was it freezing to death or was it the actual trauma, bodily trauma?
What was the cause of death? He froze to death.
Oh wow. Okay, also people I want to ask this question of Karen and John, you can interject too, and Eric, of course. Did you have some sort of mental illness? Bad
Oh,
PMS, bipolar disease, borderline personality? Um,
hmm. Let's ask her. So, do you suffer with some sort of mental illness? She does have uncontrollable anger and rage. Like she cannot control her emotions. And I'm saying, why though? Why is it you can't control your emotions? And she doesn't actually know. So I'm going to have to go into a past life to find this.
well,
These
she
two,
probably had intermittent explosive disorder. Which,
ooh,
yeah.
these two have had many past lives together, and it's always a tit for tat situation.
Mm.
Actually, he kills her, she kills him. And these guys, they need to stop doing this, right? Because it's like, the cartoon where Tom and Jerry are chasing like each other, and you, right? This is what it looks like when I look in a past life,
Oh
right? Because
God.
this has been done so many times. He hits
God.
her on the head, she hits him on the head. I mean, they've drowned before. These two always have these massive explosive fights. Sometimes there's children involved. Sometimes they have children in lifetimes. In this lifetime, they're not. But I feel that these are two souls that would really like to end this particular contract. They just don't know how. So she definitely has some sort of bipolar thing going on as well. She just has uncontrollable rage. When she throws a fit, she's throwing a fit.
Glad she didn't have kids, or maybe she did. I don't know. But what, John? Why didn't you break up with her, or did you?
He was trying to break up with her slowly and trying to distance himself. Um, he did love her, strangely enough. He did. He goes, I always do in every lifetime. I'm like, you guys, wow. But he says, I just knew that she was dangerous. And he's often been a victim of very powerful, very strong women who come in, they manipulate him, they control him. He's been in abusive relationships before. So
Mm.
this is a lesson that he needed to learn. Unfortunately, on this, this particular lifetime, his chance is up. But he constantly ends up in these abusive situations.
Well, did you have an abusive mother or father for that? This goes to John.
Did you have an abusive mother? He said he felt like, and I hate to say this because his parents may actually watch this, but we have to report the facts. And he's telling me that their relationship was quite volatile. Lots of anger, lots of shouting, lots of rage. I feel like his father would, slam things down, like slam his fist. And that's part of the reason he became a police officer. It
Oh,
was like to right the wrongs.
yeah. Okay. Um, did the police do anything that wasn't cool? Covering things up, anything that would make us suspect that they had it out for her in defense of you, John?
They definitely had it out for her, right? It's what he's telling me. They were going to make sure that they got her. They knew that she had done it, but the problem is you have to tie the, mens rea, which is the mind, the intention, with the actus reus, which is the act, right? So that was the problem. And they had to find a way to link those two together. They were determined to get her.
Well, okay, so they didn't do anything corrupt, or did they? It was just they wanted to right a wrong.
Did they do anything corrupt? There was a bit of corruption there. There was, yep, skewing of
Like,
evidence, manipulating it to make it look more powerful or make things seem that they were a certain way when they weren't.
okay. This person also asked, another person perhaps, living in the area, I'd like to know if the police are inept at investigating the crime or just corrupt, as most of us believe. Oh,
Mm. Do you believe, I'm going to ask him, do you believe the police are corrupt? No, there were a bunch of guys, he says, trying to do the best they can for the person that they love. Like anybody, and I'm sure you know this being a doctor, right?
yeah.
You end up being like family. When you're
Yeah.
working together in those situations, you end up loving the people that you work with. You end up very cohesive, and you have to be able to read each other on such an intuitive level as well, especially when you're in these high volatile situations like, emergency services. So he's saying, they did the best that they could, but do you think that there's corruption? He says there's always corruption in every police department, in every state, in every city. You're always going to find corruption.
Everywhere, government included. All right, I don't know who to ask this, maybe both. Did he have it a coming? That's the Texas way of phrasing that, but did you have it a coming, John?
Did you have it coming? Yes, he did. And he says what he should have done is split up with her, taken out a restraining order, a no contact order. She was so heavily involved in his family and his friendships and his life.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't get rid of her. And she was going to take him down. She would have played the victim, he's telling me. And she would have said, she would have destroyed his reputation. I feel like she had threatened. Did she threaten? Yes, she did. On many occasions, she had videos of him that she was threatening to spread around. She was very manipulative, he's saying, and she would have ruined his reputation, possibly got him fired from his job.
What sort of videos
What sort of videos? Pornographic.
of him with others or with her?
No, those two together.
Oh, okay. No, it's like John's a stud. John, were you a corrupt police officer?
Were you a corrupt police officer? Sometimes he would overstep the boundaries, but not everything's black and white. There's a lot of gray areas, and you react in the moment, and in hindsight you can realize, or you do realize, that you have overstepped the boundaries. He's been a little hard on suspects when maybe he shouldn't have been, and but he says that's normal practice.
Yeah, I believe it is. I've watched lots of TV shows, cops. All right, if you hit John, Karen, did you know you did it at the time? I'm assuming yes, you felt that you hit him, right, with your car.
So did you mean to hit him, or was it that you hit him and then you thought, well, so what, he deserved it? No, she meant to hit him.
But
She
you
meant to hit him.
think it was going to be fatal, correct?
Did you think it was going to be fatal? No. She thought it would just be a little bump and bruise. Had you assaulted him before? Yeah, she had. She had assaulted him many times before. Let me ask him, did you ever report it? I don't feel he did. He was embarrassed.
Being beaten up by a woman. So what about you, John? Did you ever physically abuse Karen?
Did you ever physically abuse? No, he would try to defend himself, but
Okay.
he said she's a maniac. Like, that's his exact words. And he's showing me like she just snaps. It's really strange how that happens.
Okay. Where was Chloe, the dog, taken after midnight, the night of the incident? In other words, who took her off the property?
Who took Chloe off the property? Was it you? Or was it Karen? I feel like he's telling me he arranged to have the dog taken off the property.
Why?
This dog apparently is very spoiled. He didn't think he was going to be back that night, is what he's saying. We had plans to, possibly, we talked about possibly, staying out.
So
Yeah,
somebody take care of the dog.
Yeah, I mean, and that was not an unusual occurrence, he's telling me, right? He's telling me like that would happen sometimes. And I don't know why he's saying this. Like, sometimes the kids were noisy or loud. I don't even know what he's referring to, but your audience probably does. And he just, she didn't like a lot of noise. So this was a regular occurrence.
Okay, so basically friends or neighbors or both.
Right, both friends, but neighbors, family, sometimes. It depends.
All right, let me see. I think this is already answered. If you accidentally hit John, did you know you had and drove off? Or was it so-called friends that hurt him because his wife had hit on John? Because his wife hit on John. I think we already answered that. She knew she did it. It was not.
Well, let's ask her this question. Like, did you see him fall down? I figured that he did, but did you know for sure he fell down? Now she says no. So she thought he went inside. So why didn't you stop the car to make sure he went inside? I was so angry. So she actually thought he'd gone inside. She did not know that he had fallen down.
Oh, so this was by the house?
Drive.
On a drive. So you thought, how long of a walk would he have to make, Karen or John, in order to get back inside?
Couple of seconds. It wouldn't have taken long.
Okay.
She honestly, as she's saying to me, she thought he'd gone inside wherever this house is. She thought he'd gone inside.
Okay.
And that's why. Is that why you were crying down? That's why she was screaming and crying down the phone. I mean, to her, were you always this suspicious? Now, see, he says extremely suspicious. And I'm saying, were you always like calling and checking up on him all the time? I feel like this is all the time. Calling. Where are you? What are you doing? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Drive me nuts. How did your parents contribute to what's going on beside your other lives? But did your parents, were they abusive? Did they model that kind of behavior?
Were your parents abusive? I feel like the father was. I feel like there's definitely a male in the household, or there's a male around that was abusive. Yes, very explosive. The same sort of reaction as Karen.
Okay. Was this a contract, spiritual contract?
Was this a spiritual? Absolutely. This is what they do. But why? Other than the karmic debt and this tit for tat situation that you and Karen have, what else? Because it has to be bigger than this. The whole nation got involved. The area is very emotional. People turned against the police department. Was it to flush out corruption in the police department? Yes, that was a big role as well. In his death, it's to flush out corruption. I feel like there's a lot of policies in place a lot of implementation of new policies. A lot of people have changed positions, changed jobs. There's high scrutiny, high accountability, high responsibility. So whereas before it was a bit more relaxed, he's telling me, it's not now at all.
Okay. All right. I think it's even more important to do a mind probe on John while we're channeling him. The policeman, the policeman group, and even the dog. Okay, we could talk to Chloe and the group of police if you like.
Yeah, let's grab the officers as an entity, as a collective,
Okay.
that we're investigating. Do you want just the investigators, or do you want the whole police department?
Whatever you think. Eric, what
Let's
do you
do
think?
the investigators.
Okay.
All right. So what would you like to know about the investigators?
Well, what have you got to say for yourself? Was this a revenge thing?
Was this a revenge thing? It was, and they feel terrible that they failed. They felt they let they said brother down.
What did you do, if anything, that was corrupt, specifically? Like hide evidence, plant evidence, anything?
They skewed the evidence. So
What do you mean?
they're telling me they made things look more than what they were. So small things would have been made magnified into big things, is what they're telling me.
Mhm.
I don't know why they said the angle. So what do you mean by the angle or images is what they're
Okay.
saying? Again, the audience will know. Things were like looked to or made to look a different certain way when actually they weren't.
Okay.
Um, but they failed. They feel like failures. They feel like they've let him down. And they've been in a lot of trouble for all of this. They look like idiots, basically, to the community. Now they've got to work on repairing that relationship with the community.
Okay. Now, there's one more question on this, but I'm going to go to the questions that we haven't already answered, that you just emailed to me, Liz. Is the federal investigation into this case linked to the Sandra Birchmore case? Same cops and DA involved. I have no idea who that is, but I'll look it up while you answer. Or Eric or
So is it related to the Sandra?
Birchmore?
Is it related to the Sandra Birchmore? Similar themes are going on here.
Yeah, you might have to
Sort of
ask the
corruption.
police group about that. Found dead by police at her apartment in Canton on the 4th of February 2021. The authorities were performing a wellness check sought by the employer, Sharon Public something service. Sharon Public Schools, which reported that Birchmore had been missing for several days of work. They found that she died by suicide and confirmed she was pregnant. Oh, but the death certificate didn't state her father's identity. Her father's identity. Anyway, they compounded the family. Is it any relationship?
Did Sandra Birchmore commit suicide? No. Okay, let me bring Sandra Birchmore in.
Okay.
She didn't commit suicide. She was murdered. She also was a prostitute. Okay. I feel like this was a very young girl.
Yeah.
I feel like what is being portrayed, she had to make money. Oh, yeah, that's her. That's her. That's who I can see. Okay. And she was a prostitute.
Who killed her?
Who killed you? One of the punters. Were they in the police department? No.
One of the what?
The punters. Sorry, the Johns.
Oh, that's another name for John. She said, they say Sandra endured a lot of loss, with the love of law enforcement being the only constant in her life. Wow, for a prostitute, that's pretty unusual. But,
Well, it could. Let's ask her. Did you have cops as customers? Yes, she did.
yeah, it says an investigation found 3 officers culpable of inappropriate relations with Sandra. So there you
Okay, I'm
go.
calling a hit on that. I don't even know anything about this
I
girl.
don't either.
I'm
Don't know.
calling a hit on that. Yeah, she was a prostitute.
So did the cops who did inappropriate things with her get a pimp to kill her? Or was it just the pimp? I mean,
Was it just the pimp that killed you? No. Was it any of the cops that killed you? No, it was one of her regular customers. Now, you
oh,
see,
not pimp. I meant John. Sorry about that. I get
yeah,
this.
John,
Yeah.
John Pimp,
Oh
punter,
my God.
right.
Jesus.
But what she, and I know we're laughing, but it's just over the wording, not over the circumstance,
Right.
because I don't like the circumstance at all, right? But the worst thing about cops is they always know where the brothels are, right?
Yeah.
They always know. Of course
You
they are.
have
They're
to.
going to visit the brothels. They know. And also, can you do a few favors for me and I'll make sure that your brothel or your, whatever it is you're operating out of stays safe and I
Yeah.
won't tell on you and I'll try and keep you out of the limelight and all that. So, no, this was just a regular customer. He was a married man. He was older, but he was a bit of a psychopath. He liked to make her do things that she didn't want to do.
Mhm.
But obviously she did them just to shut him up. He'd like to tie her up and it was all very
Yeah.
S&M like. So yeah, that's who killed her.
Did he kill her by accident? Roughing her up?
No.
I'm not sure. What triggered him to do that? Was she going to tell on him, or I don't want to
Ooh.
ever see you again? I mean, what was the excuse in his mind?
Um what was the excuse in his mind? Well, let me pull in the murderer. Let's pull him in. Because he's
Okay.
still alive. Actually, he's murdered a few prostitutes.
Oh gosh.
Okay.
Okay.
So he's a serial killer. Yes, he likes killing women. Okay. Do you live in the local area? Close enough. I feel like he travels on business, is what he's telling me. People have no idea who he is. He looks like a family man. And but this is one of his things that he likes to do. She
Mm,
was a little too close to home, but he has killed others. And do you
okay.
normally pick them up? He finds them all over the place. He finds them on the internet. Do you find streetwalkers? He doesn't like streetwalkers so much because he likes to build up this level of trust in order to push the boundaries and get what he wants. So what is it about that particular engagement that caused you? He went there and he knew he was going to kill her. He had planned it. He was hurting
So a
her.
serial killer, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. But why? Why do you need to? Was it revenge? Do you do it because of revenge? Do you do it because it's a fetish? Do you do it because it's compulsive? It is compulsive,
Yeah.
but it's very much planned and plotted, and it's planned out. So what is it that triggered you to kill this poor girl? What? What? She didn't like what I was doing to her. So the sex act that was whatever was taking place, she did not like it. And it was very painful for her. So she didn't like it at all. And and then therefore because she didn't like what he that's his trigger. Okay.
Oh, it's
Do you
helping
have
his sexual prowess.
right. So it's a rejection, isn't it?
Fine. Yeah.
That you don't like what he's doing. So
Yeah.
let me ask this question. So did you have sex with her that evening? No. So that evening or whenever it was, whether it's evening, day, whatever, he went in with just he was going to kill her, right? So he wasn't going to make the mistake of leaving any traceable evidence, or
Yeah.
in or around the body.
All right. Now, this is interesting. Sandra's aunt filed a wrongful death suit against the three officers. The Farewell brothers and Divine undertook to engage in an inappropriate relationship with Birchmore, who was a minor when the sexual relationships were initiated, abusing her trust and her adoration of law enforcement. Anyway, apparently, she's saying, the aunt saying that their inappropriate and undue influence ultimately led her to allegedly take her own life. But Matthew Farwell is the alleged father of Birchmore's unborn child and was the last person to see Sandra alive.
Is he the father of the child? He's not the father of the child.
Okay, it's another John.
Is it? Do you know, now you're on the other side? Do you know who the father is? Was it? So the father is actually one of the cops.
Oh, wow. Is it one of the Farwell brothers or Divine or somebody else?
No, it's another officer.
Wow. So why does this connect with the Karen Reed case, Eric? I mean, why is these questions, why are these questions coming up?
Really, because yeah, let's ask. Why because it's the investigation. The same, are they the same officer? Relatively the same officers. So
Same
they
cops and DA
didn't
involved.
learn.
Yeah.
They didn't learn. They skewed the evidence upon this investigation, and they're skewing. This is something that they do. They skew and sway the evidence, right? And this is something that had to be learned
Yeah.
big time.
All right. Also they talk about Chloe was the Albert family dog. Who's the Albert family?
No idea.
Well, anyway, did Jen McCabe, she was a very important witness, I guess, really Google how long to die in the cold at 2:25 a.m.? Let me read about her. Jennifer McCabe, a key witness to the Karen Reed murder trial, was grilled Wednesday about her Google searches. The morning Boston police officer John O'Keefe's body was found in the snow outside the Canton home, a Canton home. Jurors also heard from a woman who said she was angrily confronted by Reed weeks before O'Keefe's death. Okay. So what do they want to know about? You want to try to mind probe Jen McCabe?
Yeah. What? Sorry. How are you spelling her last name?
McCabe. First name Jennifer.
Ah, okay. I need to grab a photograph of her.
Oh, let me see if I can find her.
Oh, if you could, please. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Jennifer McCabe image. Okay.
This case is so
Here she is.
complex. Oh, she looks similar to the other one. Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sorry, what was the question?
So she really Google how long does it take to die in the cold at 2:27 a.m.? Or was it
Did she
somebody else who did that? Like
Google
perhaps Karen. I don't know.
in the cold at 2:27 a.m.? She did.
Oh wow. Why did you do that, Jennifer?
Because I was worried
About?
about, was it because of John? About somebody not coming home on time. Somebody's not coming home on time. It was a very bad storm, apparently.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
I feel like this crowd are drinkers. I
Okay.
do. And, with drinker crowds, anything can happen. You're stumbling home, you end up in the wrong place, you fall down, can't find your way. So you decide to just lay down for a nap until you sober up some and then
Yeah.
find your way home. Like, this crowd are heavy drinkers. I'm getting that so strongly. So, and it's always a possibility. This is not something new that I'm getting. I
Okay.
don't know why is she a key witness though.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why she is how okay, there's Brian and Nicole Albert are married and they had Caitlin Albert or whatever. Oh wait, I don't know how. Oh yeah, they're the parents of Jennifer McCabe. Okay, Jennifer and Matthew McCabe. So nothing to do with O'Keefe. Are married and have 3 children. Wow. So there's a family tree.
There's a lot I felt that there was a lot of people in this, and I don't know why, but now I do, obviously. But there just seems to be a lot of people involved, and it just is so strange. I mean, at the end of the day, right, this is still a soul contract between Karen and between John. And because it's still unresolved in this lifetime,
But again,
being repeated again, unless maybe Karen can use this as an opportunity to finally get the help that she needs in order to process these life lessons. I mean, there's so much self-hatred when I look in her, deep inside her.
you're talking about
She,
Karen Reed, right?
yeah, she never felt good enough. There's also some inappropriate touching when she was small, some molestation going on, anger. She never felt protected. She felt betrayed. There's a lot of mixed bag emotions going on here. And I would say that in the 3D world, in this current lifetime, even though she would have brought this in with her, and you have to have these re-triggering events, but in the 3D world, in this lifetime, the reason for her unresolved anger is all this, these things that happened to her. She was very vulnerable, and it was allowed. I feel like she tried to speak out when she was younger. Nobody was listening. Nobody cared.
Yeah. All right. Here's about a little bit about Jennifer McCabe. She knew John O'Keefe through her daughter, who was a friend of O'Keefe's niece. McCabe came to know Karen Reed, through O'Keefe. McCabe and her husband, Matthew McCabe, said they arrived at the Waterfall Bar and Grill around 9 p.m. after attending a high school basketball game. The McCabes were amongst those who went from the bar to the after party, drinking. Jennifer McCabe invited O'Keefe and Reed to the after party, texting O'Keefe the address and where to park. McCabe and her husband said they saw Reed's car arrive at the Albert residence, then leave. She said she did not see Reed or McKeith exit the car or enter the house. McCabe said she and her husband left the Albert residence around 1:30 a.m., gave rides home to the two friends of Brian Alberts Jr. Okay, and then this gets too much, I guess. Reed's defense claims an analysis of McCabe's cell phone suggests she left closer to 1:47 a.m. and passed O'Keefe's home on her way home. Anyway,
So
it's complicated.
Did she see him? Did you know? Let's ask her this question.
Yeah, did you see the body?
Yeah, did you see the body? No, but she had a feeling that something wasn't right. She just had a feeling in her gut. I'm saying, what? So did you see anything? Did you have? She goes, I just knew something wasn't right. I had this feeling of dread when I saw him. I just felt that this is over for him. She seems to be a little intuitive, right? So are you a psychic? Ooh, it's possible that she has a bit of psychic ability.
Yeah.
She
Hey,
just
but listen to
tends
this.
to know.
Around 4:53 a.m., Reed called McCabe from O'Keefe's niece's phone, looking for O'Keefe. Reed and McCabe drove with Reed's friend, Carrie Roberts, to the Albert home. They arrived around 6 a.m. to find O'Keefe's body in the snow. After discovering the body, Jennifer McCabe said she and Karen Reed prayed the Our Father together inside Reed's car. Not that it helped. McCabe and Jennifer McCabe and Karen Reed asked her to Google something to the effect of, how long do you have to be left outside to die from hypothermia? So anyway, but the cell phone data revealed the search occurred at 2:27, even though they found the body at 6. So then McCabe tried to delete the Google search along with text and stuff. Anyway, I guess the timing of the Google search is a key part of the contention of the case.
So let's ask her, why did you delete the information? Why did you delete it? She was scared. She's saying, I was scared to death. I thought he had been murdered. Did you think that Karen had murdered him at the time? No, I thought he had been hit or attacked by someone else. I didn't want anything to do with this. We were the last ones to see him. Is that apparently what she's saying to me? And, as far as she knew at the time, she says, I didn't want to be implicated in the murder.
Yeah. So you found the body at 6 a.m. apparently, but the search results were 2:27 a.m. The Google search. What's wrong with that picture? When did you actually find the body?
When did you actually find the body? At 6 a.m.? Yeah, that's when she found the body. But she did not really sleep. She was worried. She had this gnawing feeling in her gut. She just knew something wasn't right.
Well, why did the Google search happen at 2:27 a.m.?
Why did the Google search happen at 2:27 a.m.? She just was worried. Figured that he would walk. He was always trying to portray he was
Oh,
this.
before, so she did the search before she even found the body because she has a psychic ability. Is that what you're saying?
Did you do, let's confirm, did you do the search before you, yes, she did. And why? Because I was worried. I was worried. She just had a bad feeling.
When you found the body, was Karen Reed's car there? I mean, by it, like, or did Karen and drive, or maybe I don't know with whom. Anyway, too complicated. I don't
She
want to go
was,
with that.
she was shocked. She
Yeah,
was right. And even now, as I connect with her, it's still very traumatizing to her, right? This is something that will stay with her forever. She says, I'll never forget it. In fact, she's got PTSD from it.
yeah, I
She's
bet.
very hyper vigilant and everything that everybody does around her. And she will never dismiss her gut instinct ever again.
Good. Well, that's all I have. Really. Do you want to ask anything else, Liz? Or Eric?
Let's ask this question. Let's ask Karen. Have you ever harmed anybody like this before? And I feel like this is a kind of an MO. I can see her coming after like a boyfriend or somebody with a knife.
Hmm,
But all these guys are very embarrassed by, having to admit that they're being abused by a
of
female.
course. Yeah.
And if you, it's not just that. I mean, this John is telling me, he's like, I was scared to sleep next to her. I was scared to death of her. When is she going to kill me? He just knew instinctively that she had that ability in her, that she was not right. So let's ask Erik this question. Will she kill again? I think we're not finished with her. I think we're going to see her in a few years' time where she will have committed another murder of another male who was involved in some sort of relationship. Erik is telling me this is not the end for her. She will finally see justice. She will finally be put in jail,
Good.
not through this particular case, but when she kills someone else.
Is this the same case that has something to do with, oh my God, they only charged her with the assault with a shoe? Or is this another case I'm thinking about? Like a misdemeanor?
That's another case.
Assault with a shoe. Okay. All right. Well, that's all, people. You guys check out the awesome Liz Cross. And thank you, Erik. Thank you, the higher self of Karen. Thank you, John O'Keefe. Thank you, higher self of Jim McCabe, and police officers and all you guys. All right. And be sure you subscribe to the channel and also check out, don't forget, it's probably on there already, Liz Cross's this morning's mind probe of Biden.
I got it.
Y'all,
Sensational. You wait till you
y'all
find out.
dropping shit. All right. Love you all.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank
Erik
you.
says, thank you.
I love you, Erik, my boy.